Aloha, Funkso brothers and sisters. So rather than Kazovac, there's now the option of going to Kharkiv, which would necessitate joining some kind of reserve unit, but I've got a feeling they will be civilians. And it's nice to be on the recruitment pipeline now, but equally it could be a sideways shunt to the periphery, and I don't want to inhabit some shrinking peripheral realm. So there is that option. I mean, of course, it could be all hands on deck if Belarus joins the invasion, although Lukashenko is obviously savvy for a brute. Otherwise, it's inconceivable that he could hold the dubious honour of being Europe's longest serving dictator. He knows where his bread's buttered, in Moscow, but equally he knows that he is muy finito if he joins this doomed enterprise. So, much to ponder, and I have a feeling that I'm going to have to do something drastic like join the British Army, but to join as an officer and use my university degree to my advantage, rather than enlist as a grunt whilst being twice as old as some of the enlistees and fledgling grunts. I mean, I'll be like, I'm practically an ancient in military terms. I'll be, at least in terms of a newbie militarist. It's almost a shame that I scorned militaristic means with my lifetime of gentleness as a peacenik. Although, with another perspective, it could also be described as toothless pacifism. Because obviously, without resistance, the victories of evil are predetermined. So, one option that's open to me at the ripe old age of 34, I could become an officer cadet in the Territorial Army, the British Territorial Army, as it's called, to use the classic title, which would essentially mean becoming an army reservist, and that means not being shackled, not in the sense of mind-forged manacles, but not being shackled to a definite contract. And I could theoretically become an army officer, learn the requisite skills, and then be in reserve if Britain takes a more active role in the defence of Western civilization against nihilistic, tyrannical realpolitik or Russification or Sinofication, the Beijing-Moscow axis. And all its sinister possibilities. So it could be it will be a sideways move, but my man on the recruitment pipeline in the Legion told me to be patient because even with the possibility that Kharkiv goes all Stalingrad, Baghdad on steroids, frontline city again, with a renewed northeastern offensive in the spring and summer of this new year of our jar 23. To ponder the imponderables, eh? Who only knows? But he assures me the tempo of this war is no joke. Even with the northeastern front currently dormant, the rest of it, that still leaves a 700-mile long front line just in the east, on the Ostfront, from Donbass to Kherson. And yeah, 700 miles of World War I with modern firepower. The mind boggles. But if this thing is destined to last years, I mean, perish for thought, that'll be millions of dead. What horrifying prospect of war. Over this world rageth war. Earth, sea and sky, winter is raw. He tramples down at every tread, 1 million men, 1 million dead. Clearly we must crush the Hun, or else our world will be undone. Perhaps Huns are we as much as they. All men be Huns who fight and slay. And if we win and crush the Huns, in 20 years we might fight their sons, who rise against I've drawn a blank. Ah well, it's got legs, head, shoulders, knees and toes. Millions of men, millions of dead. Perish the fucking thought, eh? It does have a certain appeal. Territorial Army Lieutenant Fletcher, can you imagine? Let's say that. Dear George, my beloved Orwell, he was a lieutenant in the Pum militia in Spain's Civil War. Lieutenant has a certain ring to it. And I hope it'll be much harder to politely rebuff in my pursuit of purpose, to give means to meaning. Be much harder to politely reject. Yeah, we shall see. Wisdom begins in wonder, and only fools are certain.